Woo! Okay, boy, I'm telling you, after prison show, we doing big things, folks. I'm gonna film this video right here, and as I'm filming this video, Dave and Cody are doing a big-time interview with Shannon. After prison show, we're starting to branch out, be able to do more things, and I'm trying to tell you, it feels really good to be able to do that. Before we get into this video, I wanna give a really big shout out to everybody who's been rocking with After Prison Show. Folks, when I first started After Prison Show, it was always my hope that if this thing ever got bigger, big enough to a bigger point, that is exactly what we were gonna do. Attempt to help other people who are coming home after prison. We've pretty much succeeded doing that with Danny, and that is exactly what our hope is with Shannon as well. So again, a very special shout out to all of you who have been rocking with, supporting, and also rooting for this new addition to After Prison Show, Shannon. Today, though, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about prison politics. And though prison politics and the way that we're going to talk about prison politics today are going to be kind of two different things, I mean, they both are, well, prison politics. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with what prison politics are like unspoken rules in prison. Prison politics also deals with like who's got control at a prison, maybe a certain gang or a set of people. And it also deals with the day-to-day things that take place inside of a prison that has absolutely nothing to do with the guards or what the guards really have any control over. Who sits at what table? Who's not allowed to sit over here? Who gets on those telephones? Who at a particular prison essentially has the power? Pretty much a lot like politics out here in the real world. Also, prison politics could deal with like a prison food chain. Where exactly do you fit in on that food chain? Are you up near the top, a potential predator? And I'm not talking about anything sexual in that regard. I'm talking about like your alpha males, your gang leaders, your head honcho dudes, your shot callers. Or do you fit in more at the bottom in terms of like some prisoner prey? Meaning pretty much that you're some easy pickings, you're easily taken advantage of, you're probably getting extorted. If you're at the bottom of that prison food chain, you can rest assured, bet your bottom dollar, every last red cent in your pocket. Oh boy, you some prison prey, and they gonna be preying all over you, like some buzzards all over a dead carcass. Ugh, that's really a good analogy right there. It's kind of disgusting. But again, folks, today we're gonna talk a little bit about some prison politics, and especially fitting because of the fact that we just had a midterm election. Now, if you ever wanted to know what my political views are, I'm going to tell you they are absolutely who I rock with. You really want to know who I rock with? I rock with... Oh, God, I gotta wash my hands. I got no political view. I don't. You know, somebody had commented on a video recently where I mentioned this. I think it was on Cody's birthday in a vlog. I said, my political view, I'm 50-50 neutral. I don't care. And the person left a comment saying, Joe, how can you not care? This is After Prison Show. You're supposed to stand for sentencing reform and prisoner reform and all of this reform. I do stand for that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. But I'm going to tell you, like I said in that comment, if you need a politician to try to help you, you already you is. So you know where sentencing reform, prisoner reform starts with? It starts with the individual. Don't go to prison. Don't go getting locked up. And if you're doing, you're lucky enough to get out, make sure that you stay out. That's the prison reform. That's the prisoner reform I'm talking about here on After Prison Show. Get out of prison, stay out of prison. Get out of trouble, stay out of trouble. Enjoy life. Bars. I'm not gonna do that again. I learned my lesson the first time. That's my good piece to you guys for today. But folks, with the fact that there was just this midterm election, we're gonna talk about some prison politics with this. One of these stories I'm getting ready to tell you about is absolutely amazing. This is a really awesome thing. And the second thing I'm gonna be sharing with y'all today, the second thing, y'all ain't even gonna believe this. You know, it was my wife who first brought this second crazy story to my attention. Her friend told her, she told me, folks, this story is absolutely crazy. You ain't gonna believe this. But this is 100% facts. I checked. I did some facts checking on this one. This first story that I'm getting ready to share with you guys, this is some absolute good news for people who have served time in prison. And in fact, it was somebody else who brought this to my attention in one of the recent videos in the comment section asking if I would address this, and absolutely I have to. I mean, this is really awesome. The story takes place down in Florida. This happened during these midterm elections. Florida votes to restore ex-felon voting rights with Amendment 4. And you know, I've talked about this before. And you know, just because you get out of prison doesn't mean you are necessarily all the way free. Most of us have to deal with probation or parole, and most everybody getting released from prison is a convicted felon. Except when they're released from prison, they're referred to something different, and that is an ex-felon. I'm not exactly sure what the difference between a convicted felon and an ex-felon and a felon is. They all mean the same thing. Unless you get your record absolutely expunged, you a felon. You like me, we the same. We are felons. What gang you rock? Boy, I'm a felon. I'm a felon, B. Thug life. You know, watch what I tell you and mark my words when I say that I feel this will absolutely happen. You know, it's 2018. We are living in a more sensitive type of world. You can't go around calling just any old body any old thing. And watch what I tell you. I truly believe sometime, I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but I feel like sometime there's going to be some hype and some story or something that comes about where people like me, like a lot of other people who are convicted felons, ex-felons, you ain't going to be able to walk around just calling any old body that. Oh, you just called, hey, you called me the F word. You called me that, hey, it is 2029. You called me that a felon, ex-felon convicted. You can't call me that. You can't say that word no more. That ain't a good word. I don't know if that'll ever truly happen, but I kind of feel like maybe someday it could. But getting back on track, Florida just voted to restore ex-felon voting rights. And this is absolutely awesome. You know, I think anybody who has committed a crime and served their time, whether they're on probation or on parole or they've completed all of that, if you're out of prison and you've served your time, I think you should be allowed to vote. You're working, you're paying taxes. I mean, hopefully that's what you're doing. And if you are doing that, why can't your voice be counted? It damn sure should be. And Florida just voted to allow this exact thing to happen. Now, again, like I said, I've talked about this before. And in each and every state, when it comes to felons being able to vote after prison, it is completely different. Every state's going to have a different way that they go about doing so. Here down in Florida, like the story says, Florida's Amendment 4 restores voting rights for people in the state convicted of felonies as long as they have completed their sentences. Although anyone convicted of murder, felony, sex offenses would be excluded, I absolutely agree with that. But one thing that they're not saying, and they need to really stipulate and specify this particular thing, completed their sentence. What does that mean? You know, a lot of guys might come home from prison, still be on probation or still be on parole, and they might try to go vote and get locked up like that woman down in Texas did. She got 5 years for voting while she was on probation. They violated her and sent her back to prison for 5 years. Just for voting. So it doesn't really specify in this news story whether we're talking about a guy completing his prison sentence or a guy completing his entire sentence, which might also include probation and parole. Because let me just go ahead and tell you about what voting is like for an ex-felon here in the state of Virginia. Virginia is one of them states that they just ain't playing with. They don't care. They don't care that you served your debt to society. They don't even care if you finished your probation. They don't care if you're working, if you're paying your taxes, if you are an upstanding citizen. That's me. I done all that and I'm an upstanding citizen and I still can't vote. And you know why? Because I got to go to court. I got to pay a lawyer to go to court to try to get my rights restored. And guess what? That's not even a guarantee that that happens. Mr. Guerrero, you're sitting in my courtroom with what appears to be a high-paid lawyer. Isn't that the same lawyer that represented Casey Anthony? Is Jose Baez? Is that his name? You've got Jose Baez in my courtroom trying to get your rights restored. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to sign off on that, Mr. Guerrero. I don't care about Jose Baez. I don't care about your high-paid lawyer right here. It probably costs you a pretty penny. You're broke now. You're broke. I believe that. But Mr. Guerrero, you've got a YouTube channel. I'm not even familiar with YouTube. I know about the Jake Pauls and the Paul brothers. I don't know much outside of it. And the Mind of Jake Paul, amazing series. But I'm not exactly sure I feel comfortable restoring your rights. You see, you got a little bit of power on that social media thing. I ain't just gonna be fitting to give you your rights back with that power on social media. They also told me you're moderately Twitter famous too. You don't need a vote. Go back to work and pay your taxes. Oh, you don't even work? You just sit at home and play video games? Get out of my courtroom. You and Jose Baez, get out of my courtroom. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I could see me going back to court trying to get my rights restored going exactly like that. Minus the whole Jose Baez thing. I couldn't afford that guy. How much you think he charged? By the way, for those of you who don't know, a little fun fact to throw into this, Jose Baez, the same lawyer that represented Casey Anthony, also represented Aaron Hernandez of the New England Patriots, the guy that got convicted of the murder charges. Jose Baez actually beat one of those charges, and they were appealing another one when Aaron Hernandez took his own life. Pretty crazy. Now, folks, that was the awesome story that I want to share with you right there. Now, I got to share with you this absolutely crazy story. Again, my wife's friend told my wife told me, I told my wife her friend was lying. I said, man, where'd she read that at? Did she read that on radaronline.com? Because that sounds like one of them type of stories. What I'm about to share with you folks sounds absolutely insane. But it's true. Again, I did some fact checking. I made sure that this was a true story before I was about to share it with you. Texas House member wins re-election from a jail cell. You know, for those of you who might think that politics is corrupt, politics ain't nothing but corrupt, let this story just kind of sink in for a moment. A Texas House member wins re-election from a jail cell. Where they doing this at? Oh yeah, in Texas, because that's where this story happened at. Austin, Texas. A re-election celebration is underway in Pod 2. In Montgomery County Jail after inmate number 232573 claimed victory in Texas House District 27. That inmate is known as Rep. Ron Reynolds, D. Missouri City, to the people on the outside. I've got no idea what any of that means right there. We're talking about Austin, Texas. I don't know about the Missouri City thing. Did he get locked up out of, I don't know. It says Texas House member. They got a Missouri City in Texas? I thought Missouri was in Missouri. They said a celebration was underway in Pod 2. Can you just imagine this? Can you imagine if this guy was your cellmate? You're locked up and here comes old Rep. Ron Reynolds up in your cell, walking in there cheesing and smiling just like he is in this mugshot right here, nothing but teeth. And he walks in that cell with you and you like, hey, what's up, man? What's your name? Oh, I'm Rep. Ron Reynolds. I'm saying, man, but why you smiling so much? Why you smiling? We in jail. What you got to be so happy for? Because, young man, I'm up for re-election. What? Appeal? I mean, re-election for what? We locked up, man. You know, I have heard everything. I've heard dudes tell me they had helicopters and Cessnas and Boeing 737s, and you try to tell me you're a politician? I mean, I can believe that politicians get locked up because they're corrupt and all, but you ain't no politician. Stop smiling. Young man, I am up for re-election. November the 6th, make sure that you vote for me. Vote! Vote! I'm a convicted vote! How am I gonna do that? Why everybody keep telling me to vote? I'm a convicted felon. I wonder if people knew who this guy was as he was getting locked up. Maybe the guards did. Maybe this guy got special treatment. I can imagine this guy getting him some special treatment. I wonder how many people thought this guy was full of shit. Hey, you see my cellmate, my new cellie? You see this dude they moved him out? Yeah, the dude that don't ever stop smiling. This dude told me he a petition. Whatever you call it, the thing that people vote for. And then come election day when they seeing them checks next to them names that won and old Rep. Ron Reynolds sitting there like, I won! Woohoo! Woo, I did it, boy! Hey! Round of commissary on me, including my cellie who did not believe that I was a politician. I mean, think about what time is like for this guy. This guy is serving a year, and we're going to get into that in a minute, but just think about what the time is like. Do you think that the guards and the staff would be scared of this guy? I mean, this guy is a Texas House member. I'm quite sure he got something to do with some budget cut. Hey, God, cheesing, smiling all day. God, Representative Ron Reynolds. That's me, guard. You know, I'm only serving a year, and I'm probably going to get reelected. There's a good chance. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but there is a good chance. Let me find out you won't be doing exactly what I'll be telling you to do. Budget cuts. Talking about you should be paying these guards more. I'm gonna show you where that money gonna go. It ain't gonna go into the judicial system. Y'all be thinking he's getting some special favoritism, special treatment, favorable treatment in jail? In Pod 2? I think so. But you're probably wondering, like, well, what is this guy locked up for? It's not a felony. So, you know, when this guy gets out, he can still vote. Because he's serving a year for a misdemeanor. Boy, they be smoking your boots down there in Texas. And for what? I've never heard of nobody getting locked up for this. If his cellmate didn't believe that he was a representative, he'll probably be just as suspicious hearing what old Rep. Ron Reynolds is locked up for. I'm serving a year on 5 misdemeanor counts for using a middleman to chase ambulances in order to solicit clients for my law firm. I'm playing Ron Reynolds right now. I don't even believe these charges that I'm serving this time for that I'm trying to get you to believe. That's right. I'm locked up on 5 misdemeanors for using a middleman to chase ambulances in order to solicit clients for my law firm. Yeah, I'm just as confused as you. That's what the paper says. I've never heard of anybody getting locked up for this. I don't even know what's wrong with that. I mean, I've heard of things like this, but I never even knew that this was true. I just thought that this was some kind of a law firm myth. You know, like how we talk about prison myths and urban legends? I never knew that this was true. You'll hear people talk about lawyers. Oh, you don't want that dude right there. You don't want Jose Baez. He a ambulance chaser. I would never say that about that man. I was just using that as an example. We were talking about him a little bit earlier. No disrespect. The guy's got some power. I mean, he a good lawyer. But you hear that terminology. He's an ambulance chaser. He chases ambulances. I didn't know that was a real thing. But obviously it is, because this guy's got 5 counts of using a middleman. And I mean, I wonder for real, is that legit what these people do? So what you do? I chase ambulances for a living. Like a dog chases the mailman, I chase them ambulance. As soon as I see an ambulance go by, I put my siren on top of the car and I'm chasing that thing to the hospital. But folks, here's where the story gets even more crazy. Look, this guy won a re-election from a jail cell. He had 47,305 people vote for him while he's locked up. Can you believe that? This guy is laid back with his feet up on his rack, eating honey buns, making sweet swolls, regular swolls, wraps and everything else. Probably even got him a TV in his cell. This dude probably living like the boss for real. We thought Bill Cosby gonna live like a boss. This dude probably living like a boss as well. And 47,305 people voted for him. Now what else is crazy outside of how many people actually voted for this guy? Nobody ran against him. I could honestly imagine that might be the easiest election to win. You know, I keep telling people in 2020, I'm running for president right alongside Oprah Winfrey. I mean, not with her, but again, I mean, I don't even know. I'm running as an independent, folks. I've been working on my campaign. Let me just run this by you guys real quick to share this with you. I want to know what you guys think. Would you vote for me? I'm running to, one, legalize marijuana in the entire world, and also to make playing Fortnite a felony and to lock anybody up who plays that game. I think I've got some pretty good grounds to run on. Nobody else is running on that. But nobody ran against this man. I imagine had anybody done so, probably would have been the easiest election to ever win in their life. And to think that nobody ran against this dude, why would anybody have to vote for him? But 47,305 people thought otherwise. Not utter. Otherwise. I mean, honestly, I imagine had nobody voted for the man and nobody else ran against him, he was going to win that re-election anyways. But then again, think about this. Had somebody ran against him and they lost, not only did you lose the election, you lost to a guy who's locked up. What kind of stuff was you talking about during your campaign? Folks, absolutely crazy stuff right there. Just wanted to share these stories with you and truly hope that you guys enjoyed this. Also, I didn't get a chance to mention this, my attire. This is a gray sweater sold at Walmart. It's probably less than $10, maybe $9.99. But what's interesting about this, I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, this is the same exact sweater you get in prison off of the commissary. This is a hot commodity while you're locked up. You also got to write your name and state number here just to make sure don't nobody try to steal this from you. Because in prison, this thing's a hot commodity, especially with winter approaching. Hey folks, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!